So now that you've calculated your housing costs and your transportation costs, now you have other cost section. You must fill in every part in this section. So let's start with the mandatory savings. So you need to save 5% of your gross income. Gross income. So when you think about your annual income, however much annually you make each year, and you divide that by 12, this is your gross income. Before you multiply times 30% to get your taxes out, your annual income divided by 12 is your gross income. So now you are required to save 5% of that. So let's set that up. My gross income for the month is $12,500. So that's what I'm going to use as an example. So if I had to find my gross income, I'm going to change to a pen here. I've already done 150,000 divided by 12, and this is what I got. That's my gross. And I need to find 5% of that to save. I need to follow all the steps that I do with finding the percent of the number, which is I drop this percent sign, I add the decimal that's imaginary behind every number, and I move it 2 places to the left. If I have any vacant spots, I fill in that vacant spot with a 0. So 5% is 0.05 or 5/100 of, means multiply, times whatever I get or whatever you get when you do your annual salary divided by 12. For me, it was 12,500. I multiply that over here. Five times 0, 5 times 0, 5 times 5. Carry the 2, 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. Carry the 1 is 6. And I'm adding a 0 here, then 0 times 0, 0 times 0, 0 times 5, 0 times 2, 0 times 1. All makes that 0. And then I add it. I need to remember however many decimal places I multiplied by is how many decimal places need to be in my answer. So there's 2 here, there's 2 here. So when I fill in my sheet, I have to save $625. So I'm going to find that sheet and make sure that 625 goes here. Now I get to look at the other leisure. Well, first of all, I have to have at least $450. It could be more. Matter of fact, if you have a household with 3 people, you should have at least $600 for toilets and groceries. But toiletries and groceries. But everyone else, you have to have $450 here. It could be more, but at least. So I'm going to do the minimum. You have to have at least $50 for clothes. But I know I like to buy clothes, so I may bump it up to $100. But you have to at least have $50. Childcare is optional. It's one of those leisure things. If you decide you don't want to carry your baby around all day long, then you would put $1,219. Most people, when they go to work, can't have their baby with them all day long. So if you decide to do that, you need to add that to your sheet. $1,219 right here. You are required to pick 3 leisure options. So again, you go back to the sheet. I'm going to choose out of all these things, I'll choose Netflix, $10.99, and I'll choose internet, $35 a month, and I'll do a cell phone, $97.42. So I go to my sheet, I fill those in. I said Netflix. And I'm going to put the price for Netflix here because I gotta watch my shows. Not optional for me. Maybe some of you have cable shows, and so you're going to fill in cable instead of Netflix. I don't know about your life. And then I have to have internet because, hello, how am I going to have Netflix without internet? And that's $35. Takes me longer to write the word than to the number. And I'm just going to put the $35 here. And then the last thing I said was a phone. I need to have my phone. I got to pay my phone plan, and that's $97.42. And then you have this part that's entertainment. So you look back at this sheet, and entertainment is this part that I have in yellow. Entertainment is going out to eat. If you're going to take just your husband and wife, just the two of you, then you would add $85. If you know you're going to go out to eat and you're going to take the baby with you, that's $55 because you save money not having to pay a babysitter. Or if you want season tickets somewhere, including your parking and your food, you're going to add whichever 85, 55, or 167, whichever option suits you here. I'll say I want to be able to eat without the baby, so I'm going to pay 85. Maybe sports are important to you. You add all of these up, and that's going to be your total for other costs. So my total costs for all of my expenses that I would write over here on this side would be, and it adds up, $2,572.41.